Welcome to BlackUSA.news morning show. I'm your host, William Honolulu Jr. Join us as we explore the news and opinions that impact our community. We break down how the major stories have a very personal, local, and racial impact. No topic is off limits, but even if the conversation gets rough, we're always going to keep it real. Greetings and salutations, all my people out there in internet land. This is William Honolulu Jr., and I have the honor, nay, the privilege, to serve as the host of the Black USA News Morning Show. Today is going to be another great show. You know, I don't bring you anything but quality. I got a guest on today, and I appreciate. So first, we go because we keep it 85% mostly real around here, not 100, mostly real. But I got a great guest on today, and I am so grateful for her, not just because of her public health expertise, but that she on on the West Coast. She in all of the early in the morning. So, so y'all, when I tell you all, I bring the fire to you. We on the East Coast, we pulling people all from around the country. They all inconvenienced. I'm sure. Now, don't get it twisted. She came through and her face is beat for like all the early in the morning today. Because she understands that branding and marketing is important. I get it, and also so I'm grateful for it. So we'll be able to talk to Nicole Vick later on this morning and really talk about health disparities in the African American community and what we can do about it. And I'm hopeful we can talk a little bit about the origins of some of these health disparities, some of the myths, and some of the what one of my friends used to say, the stinking thinking that gets us into a lot of trouble. Big shout out, since we're talking about public health. Always got to give a big shout out to one of my frat brothers and expert in public health himself, Dr. Pierre Vigilance. Big up to P. Vigi. And really early on helped open my eyes to some of the challenges in public health before I actually got into the public health field myself. So it's going to be an amazing show today, and especially, and it's important that we talk about our health, especially in Black History Month, because Black health is a part of Black history. The exploitation of our health, Donnie had a guest on yesterday talking about, because trigger. I don't even understand why I do trigger warnings anymore, because the whole show just gets me triggered. I pick topics that get me riled up. I got to figure out something else to do. But there was a gentleman talking about one of the reasons that Black people tend not to have Dr. Dickinson has problems with the medical system. Some of the exploitation, some of the testing, and a lot of the lies. The fact that we get dehumanized in the process, and a lot of the conversations with our medical providers tend to be pretty judgy. I'll tell you about one I have when we get there. Hopefully, Nicole will remind me tell you about it, or I'll remember to tell you about it, because I trigger warning. So I pulled out, as I was getting ready for the show today. I pulled out some money, because there might be some cursing, fines, and violations that happen today, because it's a really if you are not concerned about the plight of Black health, then you really aren't paying attention. There's a lot more information that you need to have, because so like it's gonna get heavy. Prepare yourself, but it's gonna be real. And it'll be heavy and helpful, because we don't, how we do. We don't just come and bring you stuff and tell you how bad it is. We also make sure that you have solutions. Hell, actually, I think we're pretty much doing that part of the show right now. Course is going to get on me today because I didn't follow. He gives me the run of show, and then I just start talking, and I forget, like, oh wait, there's stuff we have to talk about. Sorry. And speaking of which, big ups to the super producer, Crazy Horse Morgan, who keeps things done and keeps us held down and keeps us focused, and just making sure that we have top quality guests and the like. So I am exceptionally grateful for Crazy Horse in my life. But you all know what time it is now. We got to thank the people who pay us. Let's talk about our sponsors. You know where we start. We're going to start with Darker Than Blue. an upscale restaurant in downtown Baltimore with amazing food. And yet you all know what's going to happen this weekend. My cowboy prime rib. You know what? I might not even wait till the weekend because it's Thursday. That means it's the weekend someplace. It's like time zones, right? Like you could just go whenever. You know what? I just thought about it. I'm a grown man. I don't have to wait till the weekend. You know what? I might go today. Stop playing. Stop playing. But Darker Than Blue, they do incredible. Their food is incredible and their service is great. And they actually care about the community. Buying food from them and patronizing them is not only supporting Black business, but it is also investing in the Black community. Talk about other people who invest in the Black community. J. Wendell Gordon is a warrior lawyer. They call him that because he fights for his clients and he wins. Having somebody like him on your side will get the state's attorney or the prosecutor to really think twice if they have the evidence necessary to convict you or whatever. And the worst case scenario, you give his office a call if you find yourself on the wrong side of the criminal justice system. You give his office a call and they might not be able to help you, but they can refer you to somebody who can. But they do really great work. Check them out on social media. Check them out on Google them. Like that's one of the things about the people I bring you. You could just Google them and it's like, oh wow, they are as awesome as William said. We are streaming right now, like at this moment. There are people in the metaverse who are watching the BlackUSA.news morning show. And that's all thanks to STEM City USA and Dr. Tyrone Taborn and his crew that have really worked diligently to try to end the digital divide, especially when it pertains to African Americans and other disinvested communities. And we are excited to be partners with him in that effort, just really making sure that technology is accessible to everyone, because you know how it goes with the Black community. Everybody else gets stuff, and then when they finish using it, then they send it to us. It's like whack Christmas toys. You know what I mean? Like your older sibling, because I'm the oldest sibling, so this never really happened to me except with my cousins. Like they get stuff and they get all excited about it, and then they won't let me play with it until they finish or they broke it. Then it's mine. Nobody else, huh? Nobody else but me. Okay, well, okay. So I'm going to talk about that in therapy too. How about that? But um that happens with us a lot of times in the Black community. And I'm grateful for people like Dr. Taborn who are really pushing back and making sure that we have the access that we need to be competitive in this market space. Ooh, edible arrangements. I was going to go there this morning, but I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I overslept. Guess what's happening after the show? And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take pictures and videos of it and I'm gonna share it, and y'all gonna be jealous because y'all need to get over to Edible Arrangements over in Govins and Randallstown. Govins in Randallstown in Baltimore County, and the store in Pittsburgh. Murphy, Falcone, and Murphy. This is an incredible law firm who Judge Murphy, like I tell you all every day, he has been protecting the rights of Black people from the bench and as a lawyer for my entire adult life. And it is really important that that we continue to support Black businesses that have supported us. So make sure that if you find yourself on the wrong side of a civil issue, or if the government is doing some things that you think need to be changed, make sure you give Murphy, Falcone, and Murphy a call. And like I said, worst case scenario, they're not able to help you, but they're able to refer you to somebody who might. Best case scenario, they'll figure out a way to change your entire circumstances, and you can win. My business, of course, the Grinding Gang. We want to help you take your business to the next level. We are working, and actually, we have a commercial with partnering with BlackUSA.news and the DM firm and a couple other partners to bring you a new opportunity. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and drop the commercial now because I can. It's my show. Hi, my name is William Honolulu Jr., and I have the privilege of being the host of the BlackUSA.news morning show. BlackUSA.news has partnered with the DM firm, the Grinding Gang, Be More News, and DM Global Marketing and PR firm to bring you the Perfect Pitch Planning Program. The program will help business owners develop the skills to compete and present a detailed plan to open or grow a business. During the program, you will learn how to create an entrepreneurial mindset, how to clarify and communicate who your target customer is, how to design your business model to meet your customer's need, and how to create realistic financial projections. The first session will be held on February 19th from 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you register by February 10th, you will receive an additional $50 discount. If you use the promo code BlackUSA.news, you will receive an extra 10% off. If you are ready to take your business to the next level and save some money, act now before prices rise. This program is sponsored by the book I Am Black Wall Street by Donnie Glover, with a foreword by the Honorable William Billy Murphy Jr. See, I told you, we partner in doing big things for you guys. We want to make sure that you have the resources that are necessary to be successful. So if you are interested in taking your business to the next level, we have that perfect pitch planning program. Oh, also, it gives you an opportunity if you participate so that you can be in our pitch spotlight, and your pitch will be aired on throughout the network. So there's a lot of benefit to doing that. Oh, hey, Brenda, how you doing? Everybody up and about, out and about today, making sure they listen to the BlackUSA.news morning show, of course. And our newest sponsor, I Am Black Wall Street, a book written by Donnie Glover that not only explores what happened in Tulsa and other Black Wall Streets, but also looks at how we got there. How did people get to Tulsa, Oklahoma? Because that wasn't one of the places they dropped off slaves. So how did they get there? And what happened in the development? Who was involved? How? And you know, we look at the tragedy, but there was some greatness that led to that tragedy. And so he does a really great job of digging deep into slave revolts and all of these things that led to the creation of Black Wall Street. So if you have not copped a copy of it yet, make sure you do yourself a favor and get one, because it is all that. So shout out to Michael Jackson, the CEO of A Little Faith Accounting in Baltimore, not like the king of pop. But this dude might actually end up becoming the king of accounting. That's what I'm talking about. Like, and his business is called A Little Faith Accounting. And it's not just that he's a good accountant, but like, he's a very spiritual brother and a good brother. You know, we often talk about people who do good work and supporting Black businesses, and this is one of those times that you should. So if you know of or need some accounting assistance or know somebody that does, make sure you all hit up A Little Faith Accounting. Good dude, Michael Jackson. And again, not just the king of pop. Well, he's not the king of, you all know what I'm talking about. Stop playing. You're being disrespectful. I don't like that. I don't like it. Well, I mean, the you in my head, the stories that you all are saying that I can hear in my head, because you realize that this is a conversation, right? Like, I can hear you all thinking and talking to me, right? I mean, maybe not, but I think I can. That should count for something. Don't judge me. Don't. So one of the things that we need to talk about in mental health is about public health is mental health. And so that brings us to the conversation with our guest today, Miss Nicole Vick. Hey, Brandy, how's it going? How's it going? Nicole has written a book called Pushing Through. She is a health advocate, a public health aficionado, and all of these other things. And she, oh, wow, everybody's on today. Hey, Ashley, how you doing? Hey, Andy's here. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm sorry, I get excited when my people come through. But I got to give it. This is what Donnie means about not being professional. But I'm like, yo, you hired me though. Like, you knew what you got. I've always been this dude, so I don't understand what's going on. Consistent-ish. Okay. Yeah, I got sidetracked again. Squirrel. But Nicole has been out in the community doing big things, and also is a part of Black Speakers Network, with our good friend Brian Oles, who I told you Black Speakers Network really helps Black speakers really scale up their game and making sure that they get opportunity to know how to capitalize on them. So, okay. All right, I have a guest coming on. I need to get myself ready. Okay. All right, ready? Okay, she's about to come on. You ready? Ready to go. Hey, Nicole, how you doing? Welcome to the BlackUSA.news morning show. BlackUSA.news morning show. How are you doing? Welcome.
You know what? You need to. I already know how you are. Let's just get cut right to it. Let's get real. You got me up at
we gonna keep it
6:30
real.
this morning, so
That's right. It's a little too early for you to be playing games. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us. I've been a public health advocate before, and I understand how important it is from my time working with the state in infectious disease and environmental health. But one of the things that struck me when I started working there was how bad it was. Like before I started working in public health, I was like, oh yeah, no, Black people aren't as healthy. We probably need some of this. We probably eat da 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 da. And it was kind of, I won't say light, but the gravity wasn't there for me. And then I started reading stuff. Like literacy is important. Reading is important because it did not hit me how bad it was. Like the infant mortality rate among Black relative to, so separate issue, and we're going to talk about this later. I am actually tired of starting with white people and determining how good or bad things are. Separate issue, which to me is part of the whole health disparity piece together, because white people start as the measuring point.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, how well are you doing relative to white people, which to me institutionalizes superiority. I know you've been here for a while, and I'm still talking because, again, this is something I'm very passionate about. So, I'm sorry, I forgot. They don't know you. Tell them about you. Yeah, tell them about you first. Sorry.
It's okay, because I'm just like you. I get passionate and excited about public health and social justice work. My name is Nicole Vick. I am here in South Central Los Angeles, off the intersection of Crenshaw and Slauson. If you know anything about South LA,
oh yeah.
Of South LA, born, raised, will probably die here. I am a public health professional, public health educator. I'm a professor of public health, and I'm a community connector. I'm a whole bunch of things. A mother, and an author. I forgot about that.
You might want to. You know what? Let's stop here because we do shameless self promotion here. Let's start with the book, because your book is an examine. Go. I'm sorry, I'm about to do it again. Go ahead. You tell them about your book.
So I wrote 2 books. In 2020, this is the first book I wrote. It's called Pushing Through. Let me get it right. Let me get the there you go.
Get the angle right. There it is. I got you right there. Okay.
Pushing Through, Finding the Lights in Every Lesson is the first book. And then the book behind me is my journal. It's a guided journal called Push Through. Ooh, hold on now. Wait, come on now. Push Through. 52 weeks of light in tough times. Now, the first book is about my journey into public health and social justice work. The people that have, on whose shoulders I stand on. We're talking about Black history. Let's be real. And the people along the way that pushed me forward. Also, the experiences that I've had throughout my life that have taught me some things that really made me who I am today. I was a teen mother at 18. My daughter is now 25 years old. You talked about the book, Black Wall Street. My family, my maternal side of my family is from Tennessee, got to Oklahoma. My grandmother was 2 years old exactly the day of the the Tulsa massacre.
Well, I mean, we could pull a Tuskegee too, because the Black people have been fucked over. Up there he is. Damn it, already.
Here you go.
Okay. So is it okay, go ahead.
So my family has, a lot of legacy and history in all of those things. My great-great-grandfather was born a slave, so I am an American descendant of slavery. And all of those things have, shaped who I am. My family came to Los Angeles in the 30s, business owners, and they created a legacy for us and really helped, again, shape who I am and the person that you see in front of you.
Okay, so one of the recurring themes that comes out a lot with my guest is the importance of family and how that is family and their support system. And I have found that is as important in public health as people are navigating some of these spaces. The people in your circle, if they have bad ideas, guess what they're going to share with you? Some bad ideas. So as we are kind of navigating this space and trying to figure out, like, what do we do next, particularly when it comes to our health? Yeah, but we're gonna talk about how bad it is in a second because I need some time to relax a little bit before I get into that because that always gets me worked back up. So tell us about like as you have been as you have journeyed into public health, what has I guess been some of the things that have really shaped your perspective to understand how critically important this is.
You know, this whole concept of health disparities was something I learned very early. And to your point that you made earlier, well, wait a minute, why do the African American community, the Black community, why are our health outcomes so much worse than everybody else? And
Mhm.
it can't just be because, again, something you mentioned, it can't just be because we eat a certain way or, you know, we're not doing something right. It can't just be the individual. We have to look at society and the way that it's structured.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's where
Mhm.
the problem lies. When you disenfranchise and oppress an entire population of folks for hundreds of years, where are we supposed to be able to rise up? And I think the other point is that, you know, our health is not just about access to medical care and
Go
exercise.
ahead. Come on. Come on. Come on.
It's
Come on. We're about to go
more
to
than
church
that,
this morning on the West Coast.
right? You know, you put us in schools that are underfunded. You
Mhm.
keep us out of
I'm
employment.
sorry. Don't forget about the lead in the pipes in some of the schools. Let's do that too.
Flint, Michigan, right? You know,
I'm sorry, fucking Baltimore, Maryland.
it's all of that. You take
Yeah.
you pull us out of the housing industry. We don't get access to buying homes. We don't get FHA loans. We can't do so. You start to do these things to us. Those are the things that impact our health. It don't matter that you
Say it.
drink
Say
soda.
it.
Now, you probably shouldn't drink soda, but it's like it's not that. It's not that. That's like the least of it. It's the other things that are happening in our society that actually have a greater impact on our health than whether you choose to drink soda or eat potato chips or not. It really, you know, and I think it's been a huge injustice to us to try to tell us that those are the things. Well, you're unhealthy because you do these things. It's the stress of being Black in this country
Woo! Go ahead. Come on.
that is killing us. And this idea of, you know, especially for Black women, the Black girl magic that we can do all things, that creates this stress on us that is wearing us out. Now, the interesting thing is oftentimes we don't look like it. Black don't crack.
Oh
We're
yeah,
not
because
cracking on the outside, we're cracking on the
woo, not even cracking, shattering.
just
It is
apart.
the all of the resources that are designed to keep this image and this visage straight is drawing away from the infrastructure necessary to function internally. And then when Black women collapse, or then when you yell or whatever, it's like, God, what's wrong with her? Why she act? She oh wow, what is she doing? Oh my God, she a Black woman. You knew that was bound to happen. They get angry, and she probably oh wait, watch this. She probably on her period. You know how that was.
Right, right. And it's
And
like,
let's not listen. And one of the things that you mentioned a lot of systemic issues, the things that are happening in our communities. But let's go straight into it. Let's talk about the systemic racism in the medical profession. Not and let me be clear when I'm talking about systemic racism. I'm not talking about what we traditionally think of racism as. Is like, you know, I hate these little, and this isn't me because I'm quoting a make pretend person in my head, so it doesn't count. But if they say I hate these little nigger women and I don't, yeah, that's what we think of racism. But the reality is, racism is this belief that people are different and should be treated that way.
right.
And it goes a lot. So a friend of mine. I'll tell you a little bit about her story, and to really and I think her story is emblematic of how Black women need to advocate for themselves. And I want to talk about Black women in particular because I noticed that you're a Black woman, so I figure you could talk about that. That's crazy how that works. Okay, so my friend, she was having pain in her pelvis. And so she was like, you know, something's not right. And she went to the doctor, and she has other medical conditions. And they did the standards like, oh, maybe you need to lose weight, or have you been drinking enough water, and blah, blah, blah. Or maybe, you know, and then really started hitting her like, well, do you just want some pain meds? We can help you treat the pain. Do you want me? And she was like, no, like I want this pain to go away. Like I don't want to just treat it. I want the pain to go away. They were like, well, we looked at the images or the X-rays, and it doesn't look like anything. We think the pain might just be in your head. And she was like, no, it is not. And she went to war. Now, don't forget, she is doing this. She is managing this process while she is in excruciating pain.
Yeah.
And so she kept going back, called the insurance company, called the medical administrator, and she, they ended up doing surgery. Didn't think it was going to be necessary. Hey, why had her one of her ovaries fused to her like some kind of tissue in there? But because of the way the X-ray does, you can't tell that it's fused. It looks like it's in the right place.
Yeah.
But has she just gone back and been like, okay, well, I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'll just drink some more water, or maybe I'll just lay down or get a warm compress, or fucking take the ibuprofen they told her. She could be. And so, I'm sorry again. I worked myself up again. So, could you talk about like the implications of health disparity and why it's important for Black women in particular to advocate for themselves in those spaces?
It's unfortunate that we have to do that, but we do. We have to also think about the people that don't know how to advocate for themselves, that can't speak up for themselves. It puts them in a really bad position. Now, are all physicians like that? No.
No.
But it happens enough times to enough people where there is concern. We can go back to Tuskegee, we can go back to Henrietta Lacks, we can go back in time, but
we can go back to slavery and how the modern gynecological movement was based on the exploitation of Black women who had no power, and by the way, no anesthesia. Okay, all right, okay, sorry.
My argument is we can go back that far, but we don't have to. There's stuff that's happening today, right now.
Go ahead, talk about it. Okay? Talk about it.
The African American infant mortality rate is still super high. The maternal mortality rate for Black women, super high. That stuff is happening today. Right. And what I wanted to touch on is, the implicit bias. And I don't know if people know or have heard that term before, but a lot of medical providers have what we call implicit bias, where, they have been taught or understand that, for example, as you said, Black people have a higher tolerance for pain. And there's actually been research studies, right? So we all know this stuff happens, right? Somebody's been through this and we know it. But there's actually research that says when a Black person comes in and complains of a certain type of pain and a white person of a certain type of pain, that Black person is given less medication. They have studied this across the board and seen it happen. There are studies that say a Black baby that is born has a better chance of survival when their physician is Black. Okay. So all of this stuff, it just bears out, again, what we see in our society. It's in every single system in society, we see it. So of course we would see it in the medical profession as well. And there just needs to be more work done to break down those stereotypes, to make sure that doctors have cultural humility, not just cultural competence, cultural humility, and are really interested in making sure that our needs are met. And we also need to work in our communities to make sure we get more Black doctors in the medical.
Go ahead, talk about it.
The percentage of Black physicians is still very low. So we were doing it. We're getting nurses in there, we're getting doctors in there that are Black, but we gotta get more Black people in the profession, because trust me, I can talk to my Black doctor a certain way and he'll understand me, or she. That someone else may not understand some of those cultural, nuances. Maybe I might not say exactly what's going on with me to a white doctor, but when that Black doctor come in there and I know that we have a certain kind of shared experience, I might be like, "Hey, doc, man, let me tell you."
Let me tell you what's really happening, like for real. So one of the stories that talking about health disparities and the judgment of the medical profession was my story. I was maybe in my mid-20s. I was married, had a kid. I was a whole professional man, grown up and stuff. It was crazy. And I went to the doctor, and I went to the doctor. I made my own appointment because Black men don't make enough appointments. And I made my own appointment. I was like, I'm going to the doctor. And I found my own doctor. Now, finding a doctor, that's a separate set of issues. But I found this doctor and went to the doctor's office, was like, okay, cool. And he examined me and he said, okay, looking at your, oh, wait, you know what? Let me take that back. I wasn't in my mid-20s. I was in my 30s. Like, when you reach the age where like that's now that matters. It's like, oh, no, I was okay. I was in my 30s. I apologize. And he was like, I'm looking at the, what do you say? Oh, I'm looking at the test that you should be taking. And by the way, at this point, I think I was the chief of policy and public information for Maryland's Department of Health and Mental Hygiene's infectious disease unit. So like, okay, I know some stuff. I know some stuff. See, I caught myself. That one doesn't count. I caught it. All right. So I get to my doctor and he's like, I'm looking at the test that you should be taking. And it says I should run an STD panel, but I don't need to run that on you, do I? Because you're married. I wouldn't need to run that on you, do I? Because you're married. Do I need to run it? Do I need to run it on you? And I was like, no, sir, you don't. I would never need to have a panel, for STD because I am married, and thank you very much. And I was like, it really hit me hard because like I didn't need to, but at the same time, you don't know my wife.
Right.
You don't know what she do. Now she wasn't. Let me for the record say that she was a great woman, cool as a fan. The only problem she ever had was that she had poor taste in men. That was her only flaw. So I knew I didn't have to worry about it, but like there is some that interaction literally could have cost me my life.
Yeah. And it was a missed opportunity for the doctor to normalize STD testing. And we need to normalize a lot of this stuff. A lot of people still don't understand sexually transmitted diseases. Mm-hmm. And if he had just said to you, okay, we're going to run it anyway and normalize that would have been a lot. That would have said a lot because then he could just test everybody. And then you find stuff that maybe people didn't even know they had, So it's missed opportunity.
Hey, I'm sorry. I got to address this comment that I just received. Hey, you tell her that I said she was an amazing woman, okay? Don't, because I know what this is about. She is awesome, except now let me get it. She might be right. Let me get it correct. It appears that she has resolved her taste in men because her new husband is amazing. He seems like a really good dude. But that first dude was like, I was like, that's cringe, sister. Like, what you doing with yourself? You need to make better decisions. Love yourself, girl. That's a separate issue. That's a different show. I think we're going to cover that on Mental Health Mondays.
Let's do it. That's in the book too. I had some poor decision making situations in here too. So.
And so it's my situation, with this whole the moral judgment that came in the practice of medicine could have really messed up some of my opportunities or my life in the future. How do we, again, it comes back to advocacy. It sounds like it comes back to like advocacy and self-agency. Like how would you recommend in me being in that situation? See, now we having an emotional issue. She said the first dude was great. Oh, that's so nice. Sorry. But like, so how do we develop those skill sets so that we can be active participants in our medical and health development? Because guess what? They're not going to teach me at school how to do that. They're going to, if I get lucky, they may take me downstairs to the nurse's office and run like a little thing in my eye, test my hearing, and kick me out if I don't have my vaccinations. We're gonna get to vaccinations in a bit, but like if I've never learned that, if my father's had bad dental health and didn't go to the doctor unless he was forced, like everything around me is designed, and I say designed, to keep me from being a healthier person. So that, and a lot of the things we learn in our culture about power and dynamics, why you better listen to that doctor, you better listen to that person in authority, and they don't know me.
Right.
Had my friend listened to the doctor, she would probably be dead.
Yeah.
So how do we develop that skill set?
So I think it starts in a number of ways because it can be hard, right? Again, some of us have a certain type of health insurance where, the only doctor in town is the one,
Yep.
And
I went to him before. I don't even like him. No, his hands cold. You don't even warm them up first.
But I think one of the important things is to try to, if you can, select a doctor that fits your needs. Don't just, this is the first doctor in the book where I can select it. Just go for him. Interview doctors. Check with your friends on recommendations on who's a good doctor, and try to see if you can get that doctor. Second thing is, a lot of us have nurses in our families.
Yeah, we do.
folks that we know that work at the hospital or do talk to them. If you need to take them with you to your appointment to help advocate for you, that's fine as well. Also, make sure you have a list. Let me write down all of my concerns so you don't forget, because sometimes you get in there, the doctor only got 20 minutes, he's talking fast, and you're like, what's going on? No, hold on. I have a list of what I need help with these things. And so, and if you at any time feel like that doctor is ignoring your concerns, is not listening to you, cut on. I gotta go. I need a second opinion. I need to talk to somebody else. Who else is in here?
So let's talk about, because a lot of my opinion, no, my experience, some of the health disparities that we experience are systemic. Some of them are the results of our responses to the system.
Yes.
Which, is still systemic in a way, but we have greater control over that. The process of finding a doctor, like when I needed to find a therapist, just finding the first one, let alone trying to, get a second opinion and stuff like that, those processes can be challenging. And one of the things that you said that actually helped me is you said, get somebody to go with you to your first appointment or get help making the appointment. That was wonderful. And honestly, that probably saved my life, to be quite frank. So talk about what that looks like. Like, how am I a grown person to be like, excuse me, I'm scared to go to the doctor. Could you go to the doctor with me and still manage to have that brand that I want with the person that I'm called? Because think about it, the person that I want to take with me, we have a relationship, and that relationship may be born on, especially if I'm a Black woman, but if I'm a Black woman, that's a different show. But for Black women, you are the strength. You are the strength. And so you having problems freaks everybody else out.
Yes.
So you navigating to the whole, and again, I'm thinking and talking at the same time. I'm trying to get the question because it's important to me.
Right.
If you are the strength that everybody looks for, you are the anchor point, and you have a place where you need to be vulnerable and you need to say to somebody, I am scared to go to the doctor. How do you develop those relationships with your family before they're like, oh my God, do you have cancer? Are you dying? Oh my, because that, if the strong person says, I need you to go with me to the doctor. Oh, hell, okay. So do I need to call somebody? Do you have your policy straight before we go? But that's a real thing. Because like when my mother tells me like she needs to go to the doctor and wants me to come with her, it's like, I first say like, okay, what type of appointment? Then she'll say like, oh, I'm going to get my eyes dilated. Oh, okay, yeah. But like every other time, it's like, how do the strong people navigate that?
Well, I mean, I think you don't have to say, I'm scared to go to the doctor. You could say, hey, I have a new appointment with a new doctor, if that's the case. And I want, can you just come with me? And then, I want to go to get some coffee afterwards. Can you come with me? I just need a little cheerleader in the back. Nothing's really wrong. I just need a little bit of help. I don't want to go by myself. You don't have to say, oh my God, I'm scared.
Oh, don't get it twisted. If you're talking to me, I will go, oh my God, I'm scared. I hate this. I need you to go and hold my, literally, because I give specific instructions. Like if I need someone's like, no, this is what I need you to do, because I don't need you doing it wrong while I'm stressed. Because now I'm stressed and you're not holding my hand right. Now I got a separate issue. So I'm stressed and got an issue. But that's one of the things with having a crazy friend. Mental health is a real thing.
It's a thing. It is. And I mean, and if you feel like you can say that to the person that you trust, I am scared. Let's go together. Hopefully that person is like, let's go. I mean, I have friends like that. I'm like, girl, I'm scared. Girl, let's go.
And one of the things that I think may be helpful is trying not to wait until the day or when this medical appointment comes up.
Yeah.
Because this is part of, like you said, normalizing. It's like one of the challenges, it looks like to me, well, I know as a Black person, but it looks especially for Black women, that this idea of making sure you show up as people expect you. Because if you don't show up as people expect you, you won't have the opportunities, because they're like, there must be something wrong with this version of the Black woman experience that needs a recall or something. Not recognizing that you might actually just be a different Black woman, because, all of you all didn't go. Because I think what happens is that most of us believe that some of you all just don't read the Black woman manual, because we've been told that you all have a manual and you're supposed to behave a certain way. And that's why we get so confused. It's like, but you're supposed to forgive me every time, because did you not see a Tyler Perry movie overlay? Hello.
Some of us don't watch Tyler Perry movies, so
Okay.
I probably don't have the Black Girl Manual. I don't know. I'm a very different Black woman. I don't eat meat. I'm a vegan. So I'm already like different. But at the same time, I do believe we do have some shared interests and shared experiences that I can fit right on in. But it's hard because I see in the comments I talk about sometimes there is no support. And how do you get that help advocating? And again, creating that sister circle, having a group of friends around you that can lift you up is really important. I've been blessed. I have a group of 5 women that I can talk to about any number of things at any time. We have a group chat. We be on there like, girl, what happened? What's going on? And I'm sure if I said to one of them, I need help. And as a matter of fact, one of them is a nurse. Hey, the doctor said this. What is that? And she'll be like, that don't sound right. Right. And I know not all of us have that, but if you can try to cultivate and create that sisterhood and that network, and maybe it's not always just women, it could be it could be men, people that you really trust and respect. Some of us have adult children. My daughter's 25. I know if I went in there right now and said, Andrea, I need to go to the doctor, I don't really feel well, she's gonna jump up and let's go.
You make it happen. And
so just think about those people, your church family. Is there someone in the congregation that is a nurse? I guarantee you somebody.
in every church is a nurse or a CNA, DNA. Yep. Well, the other part too, and I think this is another place that we can spend some time when you and actually Brandy was just talking about it. When you don't have a circle, like how do you cultivate? What's up, Michael? How do you cultivate that circle? How do you cultivate? Because some of us are blessed to be born in a family that is engaged and understands these things. Some of us are born in a family that's exceptionally dysfunctional, and some of us aren't born with family at all. Yeah. And depending on our travels and our circumstances, we may not have that kind of depth of relationships with other people. And so I think part of the mental health part, not the mental health, but public health in general, is developing that network. And some of it is everybody ain't supposed to be there, and everybody ain't supposed to be there forever. So how would you say about, like, if I don't have any friends, let's say I don't have anybody that I really feel like I could trust, or I don't have a lot of people. Right. What should I do about this whole health thing? Who can I call? It's sad right now.
Some health insurance companies. So if we're talking specifically about health care, some health insurance companies, medical plans have a option where you can call a nurse. So maybe you want to decide, like, do I need to go to urgent care, or can I wait and make an appointment? You can call the nurse line. Okay. And talk to the nurse, and they can sometimes, give you some advice and information about what you should do next. Also, there's a lot of I've seen them pop up recently where and it's been really helpful in a time of COVID, where oh shoot, I need to see a doctor, but I'm not leaving the house. Right. I'm not going outside, and you can actually get on, just like how we're talking. Via this. You can actually have a conversation, like a Zoom meeting with a physician, and sometimes your insurance will pay for it, and if they don't, it's not a lot of money, but it's helpful in a pinch. Like, you know what, I don't really know what to do next, so let me sign up for this service. I can't even think of the name of it right now, and I know there's
I know some workplaces have it. They call it the EAP program, and other places do have it. Let's talk about real quick, talking about resources and trying to find support for public health or for your healthcare. What about local health departments? I know for some people, the local health departments, especially around family planning and STDs and STIs, excuse me, because we got to make sure we use appropriate language. But a lot for some people, and also child medical care, they use the health departments for that, depending on where you are. So what has been your experience with health departments as a resource to help Black people get more healthful?
Well, the local health department that in my experience that I've, had interactions with, provides, just like what you said, STI testing and treatment. Your vaccinations and immunizations are there. So they do have like clinics where you can go in, but they're very, the services are very specific to that concern public health. Like, we don't want you to get a disease. or get sick. So we'll offer those types of things. But we also, they also make sure that they refer people to other types of resources as necessary, which is really, really important. And often, at least in where I'm from, Los Angeles County, some of the health centers even have what they call restorative justice sites.
Oh, like, yes.
In Watson Willowbrook area, which is near Compton, a public health center there, and they have I can't think of the name of the center in the health clinic, but if there's been a situation where there's been some violence in the neighborhood, there is resources and someone there to talk to provide that guidance to folks that need it. So a lot of the public health clinics are really starting to broaden their services and resources because they realize people don't live in silos. You're not just a STI, a person that needs that. You also probably other things as well.
I think it's called the Office of Diversion and Reentry at the Health Services of Los Angeles. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's called something else. The one I'm referring to is the MLK, Martin Luther King Center for Public Health, but there's a specific center in that facility. I used to work in there, and it's about
Doors Community, the Community Reentry Center.
No.
Okay. All right, we gonna find it. When you find it, come back to the page and put the link in. So because and one of the reasons I do that is because when we find good stuff in the community, when we find some people doing it right, when we get off, you need to send me an email with their contact information, because if they have found a way to integrate reentry and public health together, that might be a model for the nation. Because I've done a few things in my life. So at one point I was a budget analyst for the Maryland General Assembly. And the budget that I had was the Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services. And that year, the biggest issue was their inmate medical contract. Because inmate medical is a big cost, no matter what the prison system is, because you have this intersection with security and the intersection with medical care, which both are high by themselves. And one of the things that I found was that one story in particular, there was a guy who started a procedure to get a stent inside prison, but then was released. And then when he was released, there was no follow-up care.
So what's supposed to,
Right. And the prison that he was in, their whole perspective was, well, he's not under our auspices. He's not ours. We can't bring him in. It's like we don't bring people from the outside into the prison to get treated. And on the outside, they were like, well, we didn't do it, and he doesn't have insurance.
Right.
And so he ended up having to go to the emergency room to get it treated.
And that was expensive. The emergency room is so much more expensive than any other type of care. So that was a bad decision.
Well, but here's the thing. It's not that not just it was a bad decision. It depends on for whom, because not for the prison system, they didn't have to pick up the tab.
Well, yeah.
And this is one of the challenges I think in public health is that we come to this focus of individual responsibility, and that gives us the opportunity to abdicate all of our anti whatever or pro public health activity or anti-racism activity, because if you just drink less soda, if you lose some weight, if you do these things, how about the fact that why is soda so much more expensive than juice?
Yeah.
And why is juice not juice no more, but full of artificial ingredients and high fructose corn syrup?
Yep. See, now you're speaking the truth. Now you come on now.
but that is public health as well. Just trying to tell Black people what they need to do. You need to cut out sweets, so you need to lower your sugar or lower your salt and exercise more. Yeah, but nobody told me about the fact that when I drink, I actually feel good. When I smoke a cigarette, it makes me feel good. When I drink coffee, it makes me feel good. And I mean, think about hell. When I'm having sex, it feels good. So imagine telling somebody, it's like, okay, yeah, I want you to stop doing the stuff that makes you feel good and do stuff, by the way, that tastes worse, that it makes you sweat. And I don't know about you, because I'm a thick guy. I don't like when things be bubbling, like pooling up in the different folds. That's uncomfortable and it's not cute. It is absolutely not sexy. I don't like eating sugar-free stuff, but guess what? Everybody blames me.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to talk about the fact that my great-grandfather was eating trash on a plantation, and my grandfather was eating better trash in North Carolina, barely able to feed 13 kids. And then my grandfather, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
that impacts my health. That impacts Black public health in as much as when I take a damn soda.
Right.
Okay, and sorry, but you talk some more right now. I need to relax.
Yeah, because you went there, but you're right. It's like we sometimes worry about the wrong thing, and that's always been my mantra. We worried about the wrong thing. We're asking the wrong questions, and it is easy to say. And I'll use myself. I'm a fat Black woman, and I know other fat Black women that go to the doctor and they have issues or complaints, and the first thing is lose weight. You need to lose weight. But what about other things that are happening? There could be other things going on, but it's easier to put the responsibility on that individual. It's your fault that your health is bad than to really examine the bigger issue, the societal issues that really are the main drivers of poor health in communities. Do you know poverty is the number one indicator of poor health?
Go ahead.
Poverty
is
the number one indicator of poor health. If you are poor, I can guarantee you your health is bad, and it should not.
Let's take it even further. Let's take it even further. Not if you are poor, if you are born poor. So let's not even talk about what you blow up, because you might be born in the hood, you know, like good times, temporary layoff and all that, and may end up moving on up to the east side. But guess what? Your health disparities, your health impact is still going to be lower than the person who was born on the east side, not east side Baltimore, but like Jefferson's east side. Right. And so it's not just where you are, because a lot of times we think we can fix it by getting some money or getting that good insurance, but we have been born with some of this.
Yeah, we have. It is in our genes. And some of it we can undo. Money does afford a lot of things,
absolutely,
like health insurance and sick time and vacations that are restorative and can help us. So yes, in some respect, the money can help us, but a lot of and especially when we're talking about Black people, a lot of the societal pressures and the way our society is organized actually has a greater impact, no matter how much money you make. Because we all know this, that at the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world, but if you are Black and in a car and get pulled over by a police officer, that money ain't going to necessarily save you, right? So that the whole idea of being Black in this country is detrimental to our health. And it's ironic that a lot of our legislators are really interested in trying to erase the history and tell the story of why we're in the situation that we're in. And it's unfortunate, because everybody's going to miss out unless they do the work themselves to really read and learn how this country was created on the backs of us and our people and our ancestors. And so
because the other thing to think about when I advocate for public health or racial justice is to remind people that there's nothing wrong with the system. It works the way that it was designed to work.
Absolutely.
And the example I used yesterday is like my Kia Optima is not designed to do 215 miles an hour. It is not designed for that. Now, if I'm like, hey, I want to do 215 miles an hour because now everybody got these supercars, and if I stay with the regular, I'm going to get run over. So I need the Super Kia Optima. If I get that car, if I do enough stuff to make that car get to the point where it can do 200 miles an hour, it's not a Kia Optima anymore. And that's what that's what it feels like we do with the health system. It's like, oh, it needs to be more responsive to Blacks. Well, that's like saying my Kia Optima needs to go 200 miles an hour. I mean, theoretically it could, but it wasn't designed for that.
Right.
And so for us to talk about we need to fix the system, you don't fix it. It works perfectly. We need a new system, and part of the conversation is us creating the system, us working together and pushing through. So go ahead and tell us. Did you see how I did that? Did you see how I did that? Did you see how I did it? You come to the Black USA Morning Show. We plug everything in here. Tell us how we can push through.
So you are absolutely right. And let me tell you, in addition to my day job and my job as a professor, I'm also a student. I'm a doctoral student, and we've been talking about, the system is, messed up, it's flawed. And I'm like, no. It actually works like it's supposed to. The problem is we need to tear these systems down and rebuild. Let me tell you, some of them students have a hard time. What do you mean tear it down? I'm like, I meant what I said.
Oh, wait. You sound a little Gen Xer. You sound like a little Gen Xing when you want to talk about burning the whole thing down. Are you a Gen Xer?
But look, I was born in 1978. If that's a Gen Xer, that's
me. Welcome to the team. Hey,
woo. But listen, the house is built on a jacked up foundation. American society is built on a tilted foundation. What sense does it make to put new curtains up and paint and lay down new flooring? We're gonna fix it. We're gonna make it look good. You got to tear it down and start over.
We got wood rot in our public health system. There is wood rot in it. We got termites, wood rot. There was some flooding here. Katrina, Elizabeth, and another one, and Hurricane Hugo hit us all in this house. And it was in Louisiana when the levees broke. And now you're being like, let's get some new paint. I think that's what we need, some paint. Like, I smell deadness in here. Like, literally, we smell death in the Black public health system. But we're saying, like, well, let's train doctors better. Like, no, let's redefine what it means to be healthful and Black.
Yeah. And my argument too is we got to look at all the systems in our society, not just the public health system, not just the healthcare, educational system, the criminal justice system, the housing system, the banking system. All of them are built on white supremacy culture. All of them. And all of them have an impact on the health of communities. All of them. If you can't go get a loan for to buy a house, housing is one of the main
fundamentals. Yes.
Create generational wealth. If I can't get a mortgage to get a house to pass down to my kids or to refinance to open a business, what am I doing?
And you have fewer resources to provide to them in the long term. So one of the things that I want to end on is I have some belief. Yeah, I know, right? Like, I have such amazing guests, and I'm gonna talk to Donnie about maybe doing another hour. It seems more insane for me because that means I'm doubling and I don't think the paycheck going double. But like, I get into these kind of conversations, and I'm like, we gotta go. This is bullshit. I want to talk some more because like. And so that's why I realized that my audience is just going to have like the same 20 guests over and over again because there's so much more for us to talk about. It is amazing. But I want to leave us on this concept. We might even go a couple of minutes over because it's interesting and I'm okay. I already been cussing the whole thing. I'm going to get a phone call anyway. Might as well just add to it. But the reality is, especially for Black people, my belief, let me take that back. My belief is that especially for Black people, especially in America, being healthful, not even healthy, but being healthful is hard. It is a separate job, primarily because for economic reasons, people don't want you to be. I want you to love, and I'm gonna call their name. I want you to love hip hop chicken with the cracked salt sugar thing spread on the chicken. Because I want you there, because I want you to crave it. I want you to desire it. I want you to love menthols. I want you to love high fructose corn syrup and McNuggets and stuff that you don't even know how it got made. I want you to love that because it makes me more money. I want you to keep uneven blood sugar because metformin makes a whole lot of money. I want you to feel stressed all the time because Zoloft and Paxil and all these things, they make a whole lot of money. It is hard to be Black and healthful. As we get ready to go, what are your tips on just maintaining, besides purchasing the book Pushing Through, so that you can understand the journey of public health and the workbook and journal associated?
So the message is for me that I want to leave is think about ways to get involved in your community, because to your point, a lot of what happens to us is because our communities are created in such a way that all the fast food, all the liquor stores are in our communities. One of the easiest ways and the most impactful ways to create health in your community is to get involved. If, the city council is trying to put a fast food restaurant or something, y'all need to be at that city council meeting and say, we don't want any more fast food. We don't want this. We don't want that liquor store here. We want more parks. We want more walking trails, hiking trails.
Or childcare. How about that?
That too. We want better paying jobs. So you won't know those kind of things are being decided on if you're not aware of what's happening. You're not hearing about the city council meetings, and a lot of that too is by design. Where's the agenda? I don't know what's going on. The meeting is in the middle of the day. I don't know what's going on. But to the best of your ability, get involved in what's happening in your communities, even in the smallest kind of way. I would do pop-up shops in my backyard, and Black women business owners. That is my small way of trying to create economic opportunity in my neighborhood. Nobody told me to do it. I didn't have to ask. I just did it. Open the backyard. Come on, y'all. So find ways to get engaged and involved. That is what is going to make the difference in your neighborhoods. And again, when people start trying to build stuff in your neighborhoods that y'all don't want, you got to be the first one to say, we don't want that here. We want something better for our community. No, you can't close the grocery store because it's the only grocery store in the neighborhood. No. So
go ahead and talk about it.
Stand up.
See, why you gonna wait till the end of the show to get us on starvation zones? Look at you. You is disrespectful. You know what it is? I realize what it is. You just mad because it's early in the morning. I realize that's what's going on. You just mad. That's all right. Oh, you are going to be one of the recurring people who just keep showing up on this show. So I am grateful because yeah, there's some. You know what? We might even do a panel next time. Oh my God. You know what? And actually at that point, I'm gonna have to do something in my contract to say that that's a cursing episode. We might have to do that joint on OnlyFans because if we get the panel together, I got some. No, we're not going to just keep it calm, William, because this is as calm as I can get on this topic because it literally is killing my friend.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, we're over a little bit now. So,
okay. All right.
Nicole D. Vick, you all go and cop her book, Pushing Through, and her journal, guided journal, Push Through. Woo, you gonna be back. Don't get it twisted. You're gonna be back, but we gonna make sure you get enough rest the night before, because it is 8:00 in the morning. So I thank you so much, so much. I've had a wonderful time, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye.
All right, bye. Oh my God. Shut it. Oh, I'm about to. I thought the show was over. I was like, yeah, I gotta. Woo, that was an awesome show, man. And we had a great. I mean, think about it. Like, without health, you don't have anything. I mean, she was so incredibly right. You have a good day too, Andy. She was so incredibly right that if we don't focus on health, we ain't got nothing else. Because your life, everything you got planned for the future is predicated on you being alive. And people need you. So let's get helpful. It's going to be hard, but together we can do it. If you don't have anybody to help you be healthful, guess what? You got me now. info@grindinggang.com. Now, I might have a lot of good advice directly. Yeah, and you don't need to be healthful, like Erica's saying. I might have a lot of good advice directly, but I can direct you to some people that can. So if you have concerns or you want to get more empowered and take up health agency and be able to advocate for yourself better and more forcefully, let us know and we will make it happen. Ooh, I'm tired. I need to take a nap after this. Tomorrow we have Brittany Phillips and we're going to talk about homelessness, which, I'm just going to, honestly, I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore. I actually work for the funds. I don't even work for myself anymore. I work for funds because that's going to be one that's going to get me started because I have, hey, Zeovia. Oh, thank you. I have some real challenges living in a society that can look into somebody's face and say, because you don't have enough money, you don't deserve to be safe. You don't deserve to be sheltered. So that's I'm warning you all now, trigger warning for tomorrow. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. And we will be Black tomorrow.